According to Stephen Weinberg in a 2017 article in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, in our lifetime, 1 in 4 adults 20 and older will be affected by hearing loss. While I only have 3 friends, I have my group covered. But this might mean that you or someone in your group will be affected by hearing loss, because everyone is affected by hearing loss, whether it's in day-to-day activities or hearing-impaired students are affected in the classroom. Learning more about what a hearing impairment is will help you to be a more culturally competent learner here at Missouri State. Whether you are a future parent or just someone who likes to interact with people, it is important to know what accommodations a hearing-impaired student may need, especially when it comes to the classroom. I was born with a hearing impairment, and I grew up in the education system learning every day what difficulties a hearing-impaired student may have to face. Today, I'm going to discuss what obstacles a hearing-impaired student might have to overcome. In order to know what obstacles a hearing-impaired student might have to overcome, you'll have to know what a hearing impairment is, how it affects students in the classroom, and how we can strive to overcome those obstacles. The first part of understanding what obstacles a hearing-impaired student might have is to know what a hearing impairment is. And everyone should know what a hearing impairment is because it will affect everybody at some point. The most common hearing impairment is actually contracted through diseases or age. There is also hearing impairment that you can be born with. And this is a varying degree of hearing impairment. Most hearing impairment goes undetected at birth, and parents do not know that their child is hearing impaired until around 14 months of age. According to a 1999 study in Pediatric Journal, written by medical doctors. This journal also states that if undetected, hearing impairment will impede speech, language, and cognitive development. I know this to be true because my hearing impairment was not detected until I was 8 years old. I spent 3 years struggling through school until I was able to receive the accommodations I needed to be a good learner. I also spent 5 years in speech therapy, where I still cannot correctly pronounce Massachusetts. There are also different types of hearing loss. There's genetic hearing loss, which is caused by damaging the cochlea ears, and this is usually upon birth. You will know that if you have a genetic hearing loss. It makes it difficult or even impossible to hear, and this is the type of hearing loss that I have. The type of hearing loss that will affect most of you and everyone in our generation is the conduction hearing loss. This is caused by damaging the 3 bones in your inner ear, or the cochlea. These damages are just happening in day-to-day activities that we all partake in, and we just don't take the protection. Jane Brody, a personal health reporter in a 2013 article from the New York Times, says the most common loud noises that we all partake in and we don't take protection against are lawnmowers, guns, motorcycles, and of course headphones, which I know you all probably use. Now that you know what a hearing impairment is, let's discuss what effect it has on learning, because hearing impairments have multiple effects on learning. First, it's hard for a student to understand the instructor. So I want you all to think back to your first lecture here at Missouri State. You were probably in a hall with over 100 students. Now imagine sitting in the back of the classroom and the instructor didn't have a microphone. On the first day of school, you probably couldn't tell what was just another student speaking and what was the instructor trying to get your attention. This is a problem that I, as well as many other hearing impaired students, have every day in classrooms just as small as 20 students. Another problem that hearing impaired students face is that it's not possible for an instructor to stand in one spot for an entire class period. They have to move around and make sure that each student understands, and they all understand exactly what the teacher is saying. And so the instructor has to move around. The second effect that happens in the classroom is slower reading comprehension. In a 2013 research article about vocabulary and hearing impaired students written in the Journal of Speech, Language, and Hearing Research, it states that hearing students learn their written vocabulary based off of their spoken vocabulary. As they develop a more expansive written vocabulary, their reading comprehension goes up. As I cannot hear as many words as you, I do not have as expansive as a spoken vocabulary, leaving me at a disadvantage when it comes to my written vocabulary, right? And so that makes it longer for me, it takes it longer for me to comprehend, because I can't comprehend things as fast as you. It doesn't mean that I'm dumber or anything, it just takes me longer to understand and decipher what's being said. We will now look at the difficulties that faces in the classroom. So now let's discuss some ways to combat those issues in the classroom, because every student deserves a better learning environment. The first problem that we can overcome is background noise. You can overcome this problem by directional microphones. A directional microphone, much like the one that I'm using now, is used on a shirt, and you can speak and it it creates a lesser space that the voice has to travel in order to get to a hearing impaired student. According to another article in the Journal of Speech, Language, and Hearing Research from 2017, a directional microphone focuses on the instructor and actually increases speech recognition. So a hearing impaired student actually understands more when they hear more. There is also an innovative new way proposed in a 2017 article by Connie Mayer in the American Annals of the Deaf. It is a written form of American Sign Language. American Sign Language, if you don't know, actually it does not have any tenses, and not every word is written out. So when a deaf learner receives something written, it is not in a language that is familiar to them. So if we can create a language that mimics the syntax of American Sign Language, then we'll be able to provide deaf learners with a language that is familiar to them, so it will be easier for them to understand. While it will take some time for us to create that new language, there are many things that teachers can do now in the classroom. As a teacher, you can work with an interpreter to pair your lessons with ASL so that a deaf learner can receive information in a way that is familiar to them. As a teacher or just someone who likes to interact with people, you can also give a deaf person more time to understand what is going on. It's not that they need extra help, it's just that they need that extra time to understand what's going on. Now that you've learned some innovative ways to fix problems in the classroom, as well as some practical ways to fix them, let's remember that hearing impairment will eventually affect everybody. At some point in your life, you will encounter a deaf person, even if it's just one person, one time. All of you today have encountered me, and I know that at some point you will probably meet someone else. So if you can put into practice what I've taught you today, you also now know what a hearing impairment is, how it affects learning, and how you can help to overcome these adversities in the classroom. You can also apply this to being a more culturally competent learner here at Missouri State. Thank you.